Drug abuse, alcohol abuse, domestic abuse, and even suicide all seem to be on the rise. But why? What could be the cause? Some say it's due to illegal immigration, bringing drugs across the border. Others blame it on the high cost of living and the struggle that it places on a young family. I would like for you to consider child sexual abuse victims, especially those who never seem to get help. And they use these vices to deal with that pain. Child sexual abuse does not discriminate against race, class, or religious groups. As a matter of fact, in the United States, 1 out of every 10 children is affected by child sexual abuse. According to the 2020 census, there are 73 million children under the age of 18 in the United States. If you use those current statistics, that means that 7,300,000 children have been sexually abused. According to the Darkness of Light website, 86% of this sexual abuse goes unreported. Child sexual abuse is challenging to accurately assess due to the thousands of victims who never report the abuse. When you consider the 86% number versus the current statistics that we just discussed, what you find out is 6 million children have not reached out for help or disclosed their sexual abuse. Unfortunately, this is a big issue because most of those who do not disclose their abuse end up passing it along to the next generation, or they lean on substance, physical, or emotional abuse to deal with the trauma and past pain in their life. So, how do we cure it? Well, the first step is prevention. You've probably heard the old adage that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. There are three types of preventative measures: accountability, process, and awareness. Accountability is so important. What is accountability, or what does it look like, you may ask? Well, it's this: background checks on teachers and leaders and any adult that may be interacting with a child or adolescent. It's also no one-on-one type scenarios. Now, processes back up accountability. And so having processes in place actually keep accountability where it's supposed to be. Having a plan for not leaving your children unsupervised. Making sure that there's no dark room or encounters where children can be in places that they can be abused and it be hidden. It's also important to have a process to make sure that your adults go through some kind of child abuse training, such as a Darkness to Light awareness training that we did in this class. Awareness is also important. Be aware of your surroundings. Make sure that your adults and children's interactions are not unsupervised. Children should also be supervised on the internet and the connected devices. It's important to make sure that children know that we care and that we love them as adults, and that we're willing to step in instead of being their buddy to make sure that they're protected so that they don't have to deal with that future trauma. While prevention is absolutely the very best treatment for child sexual abuse, we have to know that there are several million children that have already been sexually abused. It is important for us to know when they reach out for help that we have treatment options available. It's important to know that it can be very difficult due to the nature and the severity of the abuse to treat a victim of child sexual abuse. But the good news is there are many treatment options available this day and time. When it comes to dealing with this type of abuse, it's very important to make sure the proper authorities have been notified. Once that step has happened, it's important for us to step in and become a place of comfort for the child or adolescent that's been abused. It's important for us to be warm and kind and caring. This first step of treatment is considered a psychosocial response. This is a warm response. This is creating a caring environment in order to get the child or adolescent back to their everyday life and get them beyond the pain of the trauma. Not forgetting the trauma, but helping them get through it. This response is warm, and it helps the child connect with a counselor in order for the victim to find a safe place. This may look like playing games or board games with a child, or maybe it's sitting around talking to an adolescent about their day or common interest. In these type of scenarios, the process is driven in order to bring the child back to a place where they feel comfortable with everyday life in order to cope with the pain and trauma of what they've been through. As we discussed earlier, treating child sexual abuse victims can be very difficult due to the severity of the abuse or how long the abuse happened. We may not only just be treating the abuse, but also treating the symptoms of that abuse. It's important to know that those symptoms look like this: depression, PTSD, and other mental health disorders. As adults and those who are treating these symptoms, it's important that we help them develop skills that they can use to deal with the stress that comes from that trauma. Certain type of skill like this is effective modulation skills, which looks like this: relaxation and controlled breathing. Such as if a kid's having a panic attack, they'll be able to slow their breathing down, be able to control that, to be able to deal with the pain of the trauma that caused that panic attack. Also, being able to bring gradual memories of things that they've gone through so that they have a accurate understanding of what happened, so that there's no inaccurate cognition, such as guilt and self-blame. It's important for a child to be able to handle the stress of the trauma and not simply be told just to forget about it, because this never goes away. It's important for us to be able to teach those skills so that they can deal with the stress that's in their life from that particular trauma. In some extreme or severe cases, it may be necessary for a medical doctor to prescribe certain medications in order to help the victim deal with certain symptoms and in order to allow other treatments to be effective. While medication is usually reserved for adults, it is important to note that some children may have to have certain medications prescribed in order to help those treatments be effective. Certain symptoms such as severe depression, severe anxiety, severe panic attacks may require an antidepressant or other pharmaceuticals in order to help calm the child down enough to allow other treatments to be able to help them get through their experience and hopefully wean them off of those pharmaceuticals. It's very important to note that medication can disrupt brain activity during the critical development stage of the adolescent body. While treating a child sexual abuse victim, it's important to know that emotions play a huge role in allowing a person to recover. While treating emotions may be very difficult, it's also very important because they're struggling with maybe anger or blame or hate and many other emotions. It's important for us as Christians to make sure that we share scripture about forgiveness and love, and we encourage the person who is dealing with that trauma and who is that victim. When you think about the trauma that someone's dealing with, it's important to continue to bleed into them Jesus Christ and his love for us and the forgiveness that he showed for us on the cross. This may be a very slow recovery, but it will be a healthy recovery. I want to share the story. About a year and a half ago, my daughter came to me and told me that someone that I considered a mentor at the time had inappropriately touched her, and that he made her scared to be at our church. And I had to deal with that. As a dad, I became angry. As a pastor, I didn't know what to do. And so we first done the first step. We went ahead and alerted authorities. But it was important for me as a dad and as my daughter's pastor to step in and be a person of encouragement and love and let her know that she can talk to me about anything, that I want to encourage her, that I want to make sure that she is strengthened to know that her dad not only cares about her, but it cares about her emotional state. And this was important for her development and her ability to grow in this particular treatment. Now, she has undergone professional counseling, and it has been awesome. They have helped her tremendously. But it's important for us to know, even if you're on the lower end of the spectrum when it comes to education and being able to counsel someone, it's important to know that the person sitting across from you knows that you care about them and their emotions. My name is Michael Roach. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. And you can check out the list of folks here that are resources that allowed me to be able to do this presentation in the paper. Thank you so much.